What's up guys, Brad here from Piney Grove, and Piney Grove is in Northwest Florida, so as you can imagine we get lots of sun and lots of heat, so a canopy on your equipment is essential if you're going to stay out and do a lot of work all day. So this is Spunky, Deb's zero turn. Spunky came with a canopy and Deb absolutely loves it, but what she found is that as she's mowing she gets completely covered in dust. And also, even though the canopy shades you a little bit, if there's not a breeze outside, it'd be nice to have a little bit of cooling air. So we reached out to a company called CoolTops, and they make a complete canopy assembly where they provide the canopy and also a fan that goes in underneath of it. It's completely integrated and it comes in a kit. And we got a couple of those kits. One will go on our Kubota L3901 and the other one will go on a mower that's coming, but we can't talk about the mower yet. They also asked me to see if I could retrofit their universal fan kit to something that already has a ROPS mounted canopy like Spunky, the zero turn. So this is the fan, and it's got on-off switch. It's wired directly to the battery, and it comes with all of the hardware here needed to mount it. They give you different widths of U-bolts. They give you different hardware. They make it so that the mounting bracket is adjustable, so if it's forward-leaning canopy or if it's a backwards-leaning canopy, and these holes are off-center or they're staggered so that you can mount the fan level under your canopy. The problem is this is designed to go directly against the ROPS, and the bracket for this canopy is bolted directly to the ROPS. So what I got to do is take off this canopy and then kind of figure out how I can maneuver this so that both that canopy mount and this fan mount will fit. First thing we got to do is take off this canopy with 4 bolts, and that'll let us see how this bracket here is mounted, and we might have to take this bracket off as well. But first things first. I hope this fits in there. I don't want to do this by hand. I'm going to have to get a longer extension for that side. Once I get this off, it's going to make more sense of what I'm doing here. Well, ready or not, here it comes. So this wants to sit on top. That's where it's supposed to sit. But I think that's going to put the fan too close to the canopy, and I can't even figure out how I would make it work here. And this plate can't be turned around. This plate is the only way it can be. And also it has to sit outside of the U-bolts that hold on this bracket, the Kubota bracket. Either way, this is going to have to come off. So I'm going to take off this Kubota bracket. It's got dust holes there, so I can figure out how it goes back. I think I can do this. Put that on top. Line up these dust holes. Put the Kubota original U-bolts in there. Well, we're going to have to move those U-bolts. It's wider than I thought. I put them U-bolts on the outside of the Kubota U-bolts. I couldn't hold the camera and mount it, so I left it loose to show you what I'm doing here. But this CoolTops bar really should be either on top of the ROPS here or directly against it here. What I'm going to do is cinch the bar up against the bottom of the Kubota U-bolts, and I think I'll have enough room here to mount the fan. Like I said, it's not ideal, and it's not the way CoolTops would want you to do it, because they want that bracket up against the ROPS, the actual metal of the ROPS, so that way it'll make the bracket of the fan more secure. But without taking off that Kubota bracket and totally retooling it and probably cutting a bunch of metal off of it and grinding it and drilling holes, this is the only way this fan is going to work with this canopy. I'm going to go ahead and start tightening things up, just kind of see how it fits. I can't put the fan on until I put the canopy back on, else I won't be able to see the bolts that hold on the canopy. This not only will not put the CoolTops bracket directly against the canopy metal or the ROPS metal, but it also won't put the Kubota bracket directly on top of the ROPS. Definitely figuring this out on the fly. I think we're going to temp fit the fan just to see how it works. Let me get you guys caught up because a lot has happened since the last segment. I had to take this all apart because when I went to temp fit the fan fits inside of this bracket, and the way that this bolt is, I haven't switched this one yet, that bolt was interfering and there was just no way to get the fan in there. So I brought this bracket forward. I had to take off the Kubota bracket, take the U-bolts out. I think this way will work better. And when I say work better, I mean work, because the other way just wouldn't work at all. But they include these rubber blocks here, and now I can use them because I can hold this bracket. Now this bracket won't go up against the ROPS. I've still got to put on the Kubota U-bolts, but it'll go up against there, and then I might have to put a couple washers on this side, and then that'll make this a much tighter connection than it was before. And that's the issue with universal type of applications like this. You can budget, say, 30 minutes to do it. I mean, it looked like an easy job. But then you start getting into it, and in order to make it work properly, you're going to have to just kind of temp install it and look at it and just kind of figure out the best way for it to go. We're going to make this work. This fan will push air down on Deb with the original Kubota Canopy. But stay tuned for the video where we actually put on the full assembly of the CoolTops. And I'm pretty sure that's going to go a lot smoother, and it's also going to show how that draws in air better than what we're doing here. So we'll put this through the hole in the bracket, and we'll put this rubber bushing here, this on to connect the U-bolt, and then we'll put on a couple nuts. And I think we'll have the right configuration to make this work. So let me know in the comments below if you guys run into this same sort of thing. I was kind of dreading doing this because I knew it was, you know, not going to be just a quick install. It was going to be something that took a little bit of time and would take maybe a little bit of fabrication. And that's what I just did. I had to cut off this bracket here of the U-bolt that I won't be using, so that I could put it under this rubber block, because this rubber block is designed the same thickness as this bracket, but I'm going to have U-bolts here from the original Kubota bracket, so I have to shim it out. So I couldn't find enough washers, so I cut the bracket in half and made a shim out of that. Because each individual little hiccup isn't too bad time-wise, but when you add them all up, before you know it, you got 4 hours into a 2-hour project. But at the end of this video, we're going to have a working fan on Deb's mower. All we should have to do now is get it centered. Got the Kubota bracket on top, lined up with our dust marks. I think it's safe to tighten up the Kubota bracket. All right, we can definitely get the fan in here. We got multiple holes over here we can line up to get the fan level. But I think those will work right there. Yeah, that looks really good. I guess when you put the bracket on right, the rest of it goes easy. Here's what it looks like from up top. We got the 2 bolts in here, same on the other side. And we could have changed them, but I think once they tighten up, this fan will be perfectly level. Then here's the wiring that goes down to the battery. And there's the 4 holes where we put on the canopy for the Kubota right there. So we're getting real close. This is one of those jobs that has not gone as planned, but I'm actually getting a little bit of satisfaction out of the fact that I had to adapt it and it wasn't just a straight bolt on. It's all mounted. I got it completely tight with all 4 bolts, and it's ready to hook the electrical up to the battery. So they give you lots of cord. They leave it coiled up there with some wire ties. So you cut them wire ties and run the cord down. I'm going to run it out of the way and coil the extra up there. I've got the wire coming down here. I'll take off the battery cover and hook the terminals up, and then I'll run the wire up there and take the extra wire and coil it up around the fan. They put on a nice end here with a fusible link, and rather than cut all this and make the wire, you know, the right length, cut the extra length off of it, I'm just going to coil it up top. Yeah, it looks like we can easily hook up the positive and the negative without too much fuss. Guess we'll hook the negative up first. All right, that's nice and tight there on the negative. That actually will make it nice to tie strap right there. Hook up the positive. Try not to hit the ratchet on the metal of the mower and get a shock. And just like the negative side, I'm going to put this up under the bolt head instead of up under the nut. I think it'll just sit there better and be less likely to break. I had the fan switch on, so it started drawing power right away. That was shocking, literally. At least we know the fan works. That does not want to fit in there well. That's the best we can do.
It's exciting.
Right, the test run.
Oh, the test run. So exciting. Yay. Spunky Upgrade 2.0. It does work. That's awesome. Probably loud on the mic, but on a hot day, that's going to be so nice because with the canopy, it already keeps me cooler, and with the fan, and I get so filthy when I mow, that might actually keep some of the debris off me too. So, great job, honey.
Well, putting the top up there wasn't too bad, and I think I can get the bolts with the fan on. It's not going to be as easy as with the fan off, but I can definitely do it. But one of the concerns of CoolTops was that there wouldn't be enough airflow because the fan is going to be kind of trapped inside of this canopy, whereas in their canopy design, there's a hole cut out here and a rain cover on the top, and it brings in air from the top and blows it down. This one's actually going to have to suck in air from the top side of the canopy, but I just tested it a minute ago, and it blew air down pretty good when I was sitting there, but I didn't have the canopy on. So as soon as I get these 4 bolts in, we'll take it out for a test run and see how much air it pulls down. Might even do a little bit of mowing to see if it keeps the grass from coming on to me, or if it kind of sucks it in and blows the grass on me. Okay, first 2 bolts are in. Get these 2 in, should be easier. Now the other ones are in. There it is on there. I have to still put the nuts on, but I'm gonna go ahead and just see what kind of airflow I have now that the top is on. I mean, I got airflow like right here, right in front of me. It's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be cooler because of the airflow. The only thing is, it doesn't draw in air from the top. It's going to have to draw in air that's already up under this cover. So that'll be the difference between a retrofit like this and an actual CoolTop. All right, she's all installed. Let's go test it out. Don't tell Deb I'm on her mower. We set this thing to 2.5 inches. Turn on my fan. Let's do a little mowing, see how it works. I can definitely feel it. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm trying to see if it keeps the dust off of me. So far it is. That's going to do it for today's video. Be sure to stay tuned for when we install the complete assembly on the Kubota L3901 tractor, which is a larger size canopy, and also the complete assembly on our new mower that we've been teasing now for a couple months, but we got word that it shipped from the manufacturer. There should be a video coming out in the next few weeks with the new mower on Piney Grove, and it's going to be an exciting one. But until next time, y'all take care out there, and remember, life's short, tractor hard.